Yeah, but I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. By the time I did medicine, doing MBA for me was kind of the ideal degree to do next. Instead of specializing in medicine, I decided to specialize in business in a way. So this allowed me to be able to mix all the things that I like, things that I can do, and group together with that effort of developing myself. Currently, I'm doing a few things, actually, quite a lot of stuff. But I think for the purpose of today's event, my focus is on human potential. In the essence that how do we maximize ourselves according to how we are created to be, so that we can be the best version and experience the best of what this world has to offer for family, because it's everything that what grounds everyone in it, because kids to be better facilitated adults in the future. I think that's a fascinating.
So this is the first of many to come conversations that we're going to have as ladies, as women. And the reason for me and the importance of having such conversations is that as women, we wear so many hats that sometimes we don't even acknowledge that we are mothers, we are sisters, we are aunts, we are colleagues, we are grandmothers, we are friends, we are so much to many other people that we tend to actually not be conscious of how we act when we're around people. That it's expected for me as a wife to cook and to as a mother to feed my children, but do we ever do it out of a point of intention that I'm actually cooking because I want to feed my children a nice meal today, or I'm cleaning because I want a certain, we clean because I wake up to clean, get ready, do I dress up because I want to feel good about me, for me, and for nobody else. So the purpose of this is just to bring a deeper, like she said, self-awareness and self-recognition, and learn to appreciate and grow and pinpoint, highlight different aspects about who we are as people, as women, as mothers, as wives, as sisters, as colleagues. Because sometimes we just don't, we take it for granted that a colleague came to our table and said, I'm not feeling well, there's many other people that they could have done that too. But why specifically did that person come to you? Do you have that nurturing, motherly instinct that they feel that this person actually makes me feel better? But you might be aware of it and just take it for granted. It's a rare thing to have. And people need that from us. So that is why we are here, to actually just converse about female or women issues and values.
Safe space.
Very safe space, so it's not going to be a one-man talk show, it's going to be more of an open conversation.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. For me, I also love the idea because we go through a lot of things and we never really have the opportunities to speak openly about them to safe people, or to people that are actually equipped to discuss such matters. Everyone is carrying something on their backs because we are human beings. We've got things. I mean, by the time you're just over 30, okay, not even say over 30, over 25, because someone's 27. So don't by the time, I'm just saying accumulatively, but every year that you're living, it means you've experienced something along the way. So whatever that you've experienced is part of your life and things that you carry with you. And it also becomes an expression of how you're going to interact with other human beings along the way, whether at work, intimate relationships, and with friends. So would you still like to do that?
Yes. So before we really get into the gist of things, I wanted to do an opening set with my friend Maremo, who is outside, just to get us in the mood of things. Just gonna mesmerize, serenade us with good music. introduce yourself first before.
Oh, my name is Maremo, by the way.
Yes, by the way.
That's
That was beautiful.
How beautiful was that?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we need that with the stresses that we face.
So with that, there's a quote that goes with it which says that music is the universal language of mankind. It's just something that everyone appreciates any day. So let's give a hand, another one. We'll have another act just before and after lunch. But for now, yeah, I will hand it over to you.
So that was a surprise and we continue now.
Yeah, we continue now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do you want me to close the door or
You can ask the ladies.
is it a bit loud, ne?
So we close.
Yeah.
Just as a question from my side, in terms of content-wise, because today we're basically talking about all of life, we're talking about relationships, kids, and money. Do you have a specific topic that you want us to debate on, or not even debate, for me to elaborate on? Is there any specific topic content?
Co-parenting.
Co-parenting. Okay. Have you met before? Never. Not even on Instagram. It happens. Sometimes you see someone like, but it looks like I've seen it before. Okay. So co-parenting.
From my side, I would how to handle getting back to yourself and start dating after a divorce when you've got children as well. So the dynamics, of how do you deal with that, and yeah.
So it also gels a little bit with the co-parenting, because those are things that you must consider before going forward. Okay. So I think for now we can focus on that. Maybe some questions will come along the way, and we're definitely open to commenting, sharing your experiences, because that is always useful when you realize that people are human just like you. We all have experiences. It's nice when you're able to say, oh, this is what happened to me, this is what I did, because that connects to any heart. So I guess with the issue of co-parenting is to understand the importance, first of, when you're talking co-parenting, who is at the core? It's the children, right? But because children do not come alone, they always come with the mother on average. Sometimes some dynamics, of course, the guy comes with the kids, even though they're not necessarily with him, he's still connected to the mother. So just understanding who we need to prioritize, who are the kids, then we work everything backwards. With that being said, the most common challenge is when one of the parents are not matured enough or responsible enough or honest enough in terms of the situation. Let's say, I'll give an example with myself. In my younger days, because I'm not that young anymore. In my younger days, I was engaged, and I guess something changed or something evolved into where my partner started having an affair. And it was quite tricky, because for me, my initial reaction was, I'm not going to tolerate this. Like, I don't have to tolerate this, I don't have to. And that was me, because I never really experienced something like that before. And I responded like that. I'm like, I don't need this, because I don't want to be in a relationship where it's forced, or I have to, prove myself to someone, why I deserve their attention, why they shouldn't cheat on me, and all of that. But my biggest challenge at that time was that I had a very close relationship with my parents, but they specifically told me that if they ever hear that I'm in a relationship, I'll be dead. So then I knew I can't discuss the issue of that time I was studying. I was doing my first or second year at university, so I couldn't discuss that matter with them. So what it meant is I have to make decisions by myself and with my friends, because that is the resource that I have at the time. So he explained, he apologized, I'll never do this again, and Then I was like, okay, I hear you, but the only thing that will satisfy me at this point is we need to go to that lady, and then in front of her, apologize for what you've done. And I need you to commit to say, look, what I've done was wrong, I was not supposed to do this in the first place, this is my fiancé, so that she knows. Because it's not enough for me, because I always say, some of us want to act like we are the Holy Spirit, so people must just trust you without actions. And there's actually a place for the Holy Spirit, something you trust without touching it and seeing it. But some of us want to be the Holy Spirit when we're actually in this physical form. So in physical form, we want evidence. You want evidence. Because evidence actually is a submission. It's like with Zarathustra, they want submission, they want proof of that. So some just say, no, just trust me. It's not going to work, because your brain is already evolved and developed. It wants evidence for it to process the information and say, oh, okay, I understand. But if the brain feels like I don't have enough information to let this issue go, it doesn't let you rest until you can submit. If you don't submit information that is adequate, then you suffer. You can continue with it, but then it just torments you a lot, because there's dissonance between what you really believe in and what is really happening in your life. So the two states that you exist in they're not coordinated. Okay, so he actually did that. We went there. So what I did, this was wrong. This is my fiance. I won't do that again. I was like, okay, we can work with this, because I got evidence that okay, this girl knows now that what they were doing is wrong, and all of that. And within a week, we were back together. Because remember, I made him do it. And yeah, it didn't come from him to say, no, I'll make sure. So I'm like, I put my demands on the table. I said, this is the that you can do for me to accept this. A week later, they were back. Long story short, this thing lasted for another 5 years. And how it got to last also is the resources that I had that time. I'm like, no, but no man is perfect. I mean, they all do that. As long as he's doing this, and it was always a problem for me because I never really experienced that, because the perception that I had of my parents, even though I couldn't speak because I was a child, but from what I saw, the presence of them always being together, always doing stuff together, when you need them, they're here. They always presented, you know, that peaceful, synergistic relationship. So then that's what I know. So now for me to integrate what I know to the reality now, somebody saying, no, but it's like that, it's real life, like it's really like that. Oh, okay, really? And now I end up tolerating this, even though for me, it was always causing me that conflict all the time. Along the way, then there was a baby. Okay. And that time, keep in mind, when you continue with something that you totally, because you know your spirit will tell you, there are some things that happen, and you're like, I don't care. I mean, there are women that the men are cheating, like, I'm not bothered, I don't care. There's a reason for somebody doing that and tolerating it or coping. It's not natural, but it might be that maybe somebody grew up seeing this so often, people saying it so much, that for them it's not a shock. So it's a matter of context. That's why different people will approach different things differently, because it matters how they were raised or what they were exposed to. So baby comes, and along the way, I almost lost my mind, honestly. Just being honest, because for me, there was always that battle all the time. I always lost my mind, then I would chase him like I was a lunatic. like you just lose your dignity. If I can summarize it, you just lose your dignity when you're trying to change another adult. Like you can't. Okay. Then I'd be chasing, racing cars. Yeah, can you see them? I'm getting them now. Yeah, and then park in front of them. Like, my driving skills improved so much. Because I mean, I had to have some evidence. Because if I don't catch him, he's going to deny it. Yes. And in medicine, we're taught evidence-based. You need evidence for you to make a diagnosis. So my brain is also trained like that. I need evidence, because if I don't catch him red-handed, like, you see, you did it again. Like, no, you know I stopped. You know I love you. And I need evidence. And I always caught them so many times, to a point that, remember, as women were heightened and they're general to be in sync, you always kind of pick up that something has changed. Especially if you can really be in sync. Sometimes you lose it when you refuse to give yourself that personal space, because when you give yourself that personal space, you can detect a lot of things on that level, to a point that I will get a specific smell, or if I get that smell, I know I'm going to catch them in the next few hours. Imagine. Literally, it happened like that all the time. And I don't even know that smell. I don't know. It's not like it's somebody's perfume, but it smells like perfume. Like, if I get that smell, I'm like, I'm going to catch them. And I'll catch them. No, but honestly, like, I was just at the brink of losing my mind, honestly. So the child came, and even then, I caught, I didn't really know. I got that smell. I'm like, and I happened to bump into this girl driving. Like, it was weird. I bumped into her, and I'm like, as a doctor, this one is pregnant. She was in the car driving, and she's normally petite, and I'm like, I can see on her face, this person must be pregnant. Kind of driving fast. I'm like, crazy girl, seriously. Like, so now I want evidence, but eventually I couldn't get it, because she drove so fast, and Lena, she's trying to hide, because this baby must arrive on earth. This baby was made out of love at the expense of somebody else in a way. But then the reality is that once the baby's here, it changes the dynamics, because that child is innocent. Like, literally, the child did nothing. The adults, we as adults bring kids to the world. So then I was like, no, I can't take this anymore. And he convinced me again, like, no, I don't really want to do this. Then I always get receipts that this guy was with them, he went to buy stuff and all of that. To a point where I said, okay, maybe I'm being selfish. Let me just accept, because I can't change anything. The child is here now. Okay, I said to him, look, you've really offended me with what you've done. But I'm also not that type of person that I'm going to hate a child, an innocent child. I mean, I don't know this child, but all kids are innocent because there's no child who creates themselves. And I said, okay, I'm not that type of person. I want to be somebody that I'm not, just because of what you guys have done. Can we find a way of making this thing work, in the sense that I need you, actually the same thing, I need you in my presence to tell this girl that what you guys have done is not okay. I can't repeating it. Because you want a solution at that time. And remember, the longer you stay with somebody, it's really difficult to just walk away. Because you really develop a bond with that person. Before you make that decision, a lot of things will go through your mind. It's very difficult. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. Can you just sit this lady down in my presence and make her understand that what you guys did is wrong? And we'll take care of the baby. Because the baby is innocent. Because I wouldn't say don't take care of the baby. It's not fair for the baby, and it's not the right thing for me to, to prove a point by making you neglect a child. So can we just have a sit down and clarify this? And it's co-parenting in a way, actually, if you think about it, because I have to accept that there's a child here, despite how the child came. That, okay, can you at least talk to the mother, or okay, this is what happened, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, no, I'm still arranging with her, and okay, that time never came in a way. After 2-3 weeks, then I'm getting restless. Okay, these people are still talking, they're interacting, and I'm not made part of the decision making, despite me trying to engage and saying, okay, can you at least? It was very traumatic, by the way. So by the time the relationship ended, I was like, you know what? The next guy that I meet, who's going to be my husband, he must not have kids. And that time, part of the story is by that time I was pregnant towards the end of our relationship, and he wasn't so excited about my pregnancy. You would think. So basically I was like, look, I'm not that woman who's going to use a child to get to you. You're an adult. I'm not going to do that. If you are not willing to commit and do the right thing, it's fine. This child is God's child. God will make a way around this, but I will do what I need to do. And fortunately, my parents are present. They're very supportive, and I was like, but you can imagine the emotional and psychological trauma to actually realize that. For me, I was traumatized just even to think I'm going to be a single mother. I never imagined that. I never even saw myself in those profiles. Like I was traumatized for the longest time, and you just have to survive this thing. And it kind of goes kind of about pregnancy. You just change. The nose is bigger, the skin is different. And then I just walk around like that's not the right time for somebody not to show support, if I can put it that way. But when you're faced with the situation, you have to adapt. You don't have a choice anyway. You have to adapt, and so I adapted, and my child came, and I said, God. But I also struggled. I suffered from what do you call it? Post Partum, yeah. I had Post Partum, I think, for a good month, which is something that most of us miss as new mothers sometimes, or as, I don't know if it's as black mothers, because I would think most of us are not taught about that. So you just think, maybe, you keep justifying it, but we don't understand that it's a medical condition. The body goes through dynamics and all of that. So you just feel so down. You're so discouraged about life, and you're always teary. There's nothing that you're feeling good about. Like you're just surviving, literally, just surviving. It's a terrible state to be in. You literally can describe it as you just feel like you're literally in a hole and you can't even come out. You know you want to come out, but you can't come out. Then you still have to go through that. But fortunately, I was able to recover at some point, and I just said to God, every child is from you, so you'll make a way here for me. And I refuse to believe that my child is like bad luck or is going to hinder my chances for this, and this child is innocent. and I didn't have any bad intentions with what happened here. So I do want to get married, and I want a man who does not have a child. And some of my friends were saying, where are you going to get that? Well, your standards are too high for your problems, in a way. But I'm like, but that's not how God sees it. I've got my reasons for saying this. It's not that I'm saying I want perfection. I've tried to commit myself to take care of another woman's child, understanding the dynamics and trying to respect that. But I suffered, I struggled, I didn't get it right. I'm not willing to go through that again. And I was fortunate, definitely not to get one with a baby, honestly. Like, it is stressful. So coming to your question, how do you cope around? So we're saying, so in this case, if the woman is coming with the child, it's easier because you have the child. That child is yours. But sometimes as women, we make the mistake of when you want to move into a new relationship, you want to put your child behind the scenes and go as a woman without a child. And that is the most terrible thing that you can do for yourself and to the child. Is the most terrible thing. Because when somebody really loves you, it does not make sense that they don't love a part of you. And other men will even tell you that they're not willing. But usually they'll tell you that once they pick up your own energy, they'll pick up that you are not committed to this child yourself. And the biggest problem usually is if you don't actually recover from the postpartum depression, you just carry the hate towards your child. Because sometimes you end up hating this child because of the depression, but you didn't pick up, the diagnosis was never made that you're actually in postpartum depression. And you continue just feeling despiteful, hateful around this child. You don't feel, you associate this child with the bad part or the painful part of what it means to you. And obviously, if you go into a relationship and you don't say, my child is part of me, I'm coming with my child, obviously it reflects on you. And for somebody who is conscious, they'll understand that it means you're not as committed as you're claiming to be, because if you are willing to leave a part of you and come to me, do you understand? Because it's going to reflect on you. How to leave your own child just to come to a male because eventually it's about provision and sex and all of that, but you left the child. So somebody kind of undermines your thinking, but without telling you, but they've made a judgment, because somebody can apply their mind to say, okay, if this person can do this to their own child, it means they can do something similar to me in a way. So to be able to get to a place where you say, as a woman, you take your child, you say, I've got children, I've got a child. They cannot be a different entity from me. They are a part of me. It's part of me loving myself because these kids come from me. So as a woman, it's clear that most likely just take that child with you wherever you go. That child, those children, they go with you wherever you go. For males, it's tricky because it depends on the mother, because that was the biggest thing, that even if I want to integrate the relationships and get the kids in and co-parent, if the mother of the child is not agreeable, she won't make this easy. She won't make this easy. So it's those situations where even if the man has moved on, the woman still calls at awkward hours saying the child wants this, the child does this. So that is a clear reflection about the mother of the child, and there is nothing you can do about it. So now when the man is the one coming with the kids, you don't actually have control. So the best that you can do is from the start, discuss it and get a feeling of how this thing is going to work. Where is this woman's state of mind? Because if this child was created as a lifeline towards this man, you're in trouble. There's nothing you can do. That child was created to be the lifeline. So that won't stop because you are here. That's the most difficult thing. So if it's not discussed, meaning it happens, like you see as it happens, it's tricky. Because you keep discovering that, oh my God, because it was not discussed. Like most things when we go into a relationship, we don't discuss serious things. Because we just want to know, like, oh, we both love this. Okay, like, this is fun. Like, we all focus on the fun stuff. But we never talk about serious things, like, what do you believe in? Are you more of a cultural person or a Christian? Those are critical issues. Do you have kids? How many? Where are they? Who's taking care of them? Provision? All of that. What is your feeling about co-parenting them. What are we going to do? How would we handle this? Money, what is your feeling about money? Are we going to share the same account? Does everybody have their own account? So those are critical questions. Most of us, we don't discuss that. Then once we're in, then you realize that, oh my God, this person has a problem with gambling. And at the time you thought, okay, no, this is a nice profile, I can work with this guy. Then you get there, you realize they have sex addiction. You didn't know. And also because every human being is intelligent, they wouldn't want to introduce their weaknesses. Most of us naturally wouldn't want to expose our weaknesses. And then you're in, then you have to accept that your partner, whether the husband or the wife, has this sex addiction. Every morning he has to, like, it comes in different forms, but it's traumatic if you didn't expect it. Because by the time it changes your perception, you're in. And you can't just come out. Sorry? No, I was going to say something weird. But I'm like, I didn't know that weird example. Like, no, let me just leave it. Yeah, because remember, even with the issue of sex, how many of us actually get to discuss our sex habits? And our sex habits also are directed by how we were exposed to sex from the start. It's like a whole thing, because you need to understand. That's why at some point psychologists are also saying before, or counselors that do it properly, you want to know how somebody was raised, who raised them, who was there. Did you experience any form of abuse? Because those things, they all pop up in adulthood and you can't erase them. Just because, like, no, now let's do it. You can't erase that. That becomes part of your core. And if you don't know that, it is also difficult to interact with your partner because you don't understand what drives them. You're only looking at the person that you see here, but you don't know the coding that was done a long time ago before you were there. It only starts popping up in adulthood. Yeah. So when it comes to co-parenting again, it's a matter of, I think it's easiest the woman on average you take your kids, but it's usually the challenge when your partner is the one coming with the kids. And now it depends on the mother of the child. Or are they agreeable? Do they respect other people's boundaries? Do they understand that what are their responsibilities towards this child and what is the responsibility of the father towards the child? So meaning what connects you to the child is what the mother. So if your partner has not sat down with the mother of the child and given them boundaries, every time the child is coughing and they can't sleep, the fever is too high, they're having convulsions, and then the guy's like, I have to go. The child is sick again. Then I will be 2 a.m. Like, I'm coming with you. Like, you know how crazy that woman is. I just have to go alone, otherwise the kid's gonna get more convulsions. He goes, sees the kid, they take him to hospital. The next thing, after 6 months, that girl is pregnant again. During the convulsions, but remember, these people had a relationship before. They're not strangers. She's laughing. So, and which is the important thing to understand, that once people have had relationships, that bond is forever. That's why, people always say that we don't get it. Choose which people you want to have relationships with, because especially sexual is forever. You can't just erase them and say, I'm angry with you, it's done. Your mind keeps playing that record now and then when you're relaxing, like, living a good life, and then you remember, like, shucks, that part of my life wasn't fun. Then you have to just process that again. I forgot. The conversion. The conversion.
And the child after 6 months.
Yeah, yes. And a pregnancy. And remember, when you're trying to present yourself as a proper wife, because the guys will also pressure us, like, no, but what type of woman are you? Why do you put me under such? Because the guys that are not willing to work on this, they put you on the spot that you have to question yourself. Or why do you want evidence? Why do this child is sick? So when a child should rather die just because you're worried about another woman? No, I'm doubting my decision now with you. Emotional manipulation, by the way, 101. But a lot of guys will do that just to keep you in a corner. And then it's all through those convulsions. Let's say they're real or not real, because you don't really know. You don't have evidence. He said, no, we're going to take the child to hospital. Maybe they do go. And then it gets there, the lady's like, I'm not coping. When you're not here, I'm lifting the child, I just feel I'm going to lose the child. And the guy, he's human. Like, hey, no, just get on the bed, let's see what I can do for you. basically, just to help calm you down. That's what it is. Like he's soothing her.
Comforting.
Yeah, like serious comfort right there. And then when I come affect that 6 months later, because remember, a woman in that situation, then I'm talking extremes, of course. There are other women that are matured, but I'm telling you, they're not a lot. There are not a lot of women that are mature to respect when their partner has moved on, that they have somebody, and actually respect the boundaries and go through the woman. That is the proper way to do it. But if when as a woman you are selfish and childish enough to interfere with another woman's relationship, but you wouldn't want, because the same girl in my case who was doing that, when I left finally, she still called me to say, I don't know where he is. Is it? I'm like, Evan, do you understand? But I almost lost my mind because of you. You've got the guys.
Yes, it's come.
And then when it's you, you're not handling it. No, you go through it.
Yes.
Let's see how it goes. I'm not there anymore. So you handle it now. Because it's like that. Remember, when you're selfish, almost like you're basically a child that never grew up. Because you're just thinking me. You never get to a place where you say, okay, but what is the logic thing about this? What is a priority in this situation? What should I prioritize? So, yeah, in this situation, the key person is that the mother of the child, and then you do not have control over that woman. Only your spouse. You can talk to your spouse, and then the spouse is the one that must talk to him, to her. I mean, and if the boundaries are not set, that's where another baby comes within the relationship. And someone in that situation always wants to make sure that the wife or the fiance knows, like, they send you a message just to trigger you. But they just want you to know that the man that you say is your man was with me. Then now you're going to process that information, but they know you won't have peace, just like they don't have peace. So because you can't have peace by yourself. So the message, I guess, is at the end of the day is about your primary relationship with your partner. The responsibility is on him, and you talking to him, and you being clear from the start and being open and honest to say, how are we going to handle this? What are the core things around here? Boundaries are important, and most people are not willing to accept boundaries under general, but boundaries are things that make all relationships work. Boundaries of saying, I respect your space, please also respect my space, I guess. In terms of, I hope I answered. It was a very long answer.
So,
Super
okay,
long.
we also touch on something. What if
Yeah.
in a matter of the husband wanting to bring in
The baby to stay with you.
yes,
How old is the
Okay.
baby? Because that matters.
5 years?
5 years. That can still work. The reason for that is kids up to the age of 6, 7, they're still teachable. That is where they're still being coded. But once a child is 7 and up, that child already has coding. You will not be able to do anything. So now that child already comes with their motherboard typed and coded.
But that's understandable. But in a matter of, I just had a baby,
Yeah.
you know, and then now there's going to be another baby. And now his mentality is, I'll pay for everything, I'll pay for school fees and stuff. I'm like, yes, you don't need money to raise a child.
It's time and energy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is mine.
Yeah.
And which I just had my first baby now,
Yeah.
and I'm still trying to get myself, my
Adjust
body,
and yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now it's also a thing of whoever you're selfish.
Yeah. So what is the role of the mother? Who is that child's mother?
She's still there, very well, very
Functional.
yeah,
Functional.
sharp, you know. She's
So what is the
like,
reason?
there's nothing.
What is the reason for bringing the
I
child
think,
in?
Education.
Education.
Yeah, to be in a better school.
So the
and
mother is
stuff
far
like
from good schools.
that. Yes. Which is also understandable, but what about me?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing here is communication. Because it's a matter of saying, you are saying, because raising a small baby is demanding. Like, it's demanding. So it's a matter of discussing and saying, look, I don't have a problem bringing the child in, but it doesn't also make sense. The mother is alive, she's well, and she can't raise her own child. And another thing that can be used as, I'll say it's an excuse, is that we assume that expensive schools are good schools.
Yeah.
Good school is home schooling in terms of what you teach your child at home. So even if you take your child to the best school, but you haven't done the work at home, there's no good school that will fix that. So if the mother is away from, unless if he's aware that, you know what, this woman really is irresponsible, is going to mess up my child, she's having boyfriends coming in and out and is exposing this child to trauma, because it's traumatic for kids to watch their mother just bring somebody in then and it's out. If that is the reason which he's supposed to communicate, then you're supposed to say, well, how best can we do this? And then you're supposed to say, how much time do you need for you just to settle down? Then you integrate and also be clear, how will the mother of this child fit into the whole picture? Because sometimes we are scared to go into details and ask details, but if you don't ask those questions, you're going to be shocked. And then the next thing, that lady also moves in. And that was the original pen, just that they gave you in phases. But no, I don't like her anymore, I don't love her, I'm just worried about this child because you're never another baby small and you're not coping. She can use the outside room. I don't even like her. And gonna go. Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
but
just to jump in, when you said he has no baby, but the scariest thing that you said is that the child is still codable. Now I'm thinking, next year will turn 6, so the coding time is almost
Yeah.
But personally, I feel that she also needs space to get herself, settled in the motherhood things.
Yes. So she's in the third
She's
spot.
also going to be judged with the other task that's brought into the
And,
house.
and remember, because the mother is alive, every time this child reports to the mother, or every time when the child goes home to the mother's like, did they do this, did they do this? Make sure, because remember the mother is there, she'll always be the voice in your house.
She is the voice because she can tell the alpha, like, no, my mom said you must bath me. My mom said
Imagine.
you must sleep. I'm like, but you know how to feed yourself.
Yeah.
But no,
So your mom is,
yeah,
the mom is
so
in your
now
house.
She's coding
Yeah.
in my house.
In your house, yes. So that's the thing.
Frustrating.
That is frustrating. So I think the best thing in this case would be probably go see someone to basically facilitate this in a safe space where there's, if he goes, because sometimes if somebody's defensive, they just go in a state and start shouting and I'm upset and you can't even talk, like, okay, it's fine, let's leave it for now. But you didn't solve the problem, so you probably need a facilitator and say, everybody expresses themselves, their expectations, and say, what is the best thing around this situation?
Okay, I don't know what the question is, and I don't know how far you've answered this.
Yeah.
But there's just one part that I got where the guy wants to bring in another child from a previous relationship into the current family. And I've almost been in a similar situation, and I can say that sometimes it's a form of guilt. It's a form of a man feeling guilty that this new child is getting all the attention and all the love, and that other one is not. So they feel guilty, therefore they want to just uproot that person without actually even realizing the destruction that it can cause. So just so that they can feel better about themselves, they'll just take the child and say, no, it's for them. Yeah, let's plant them here so that we can move on as a family without actually observing the holistic destruction of this. So one, it could be out of guilt. Two, I've also sensed a bit of jealousy as well. That men are jealous that you love, or they can see the love with this one child. And they're doing so much because the child is in front of them. They feel that I'm doing so much for this one. What about that one? So they become a bit jealous that they want to also do more for the other. But doing more for the other in the presence of that old female might hinder them, so they want to do more while the child is here, where they
Under
can
your
see them,
supervision.
to make sure that that one doesn't benefit
Financially.
from their gains. Therefore, they take the child so that they can do everything for this child, take them to better schools. They could find another better school boarding elsewhere and not have the child in there. But because there's also that element of guilt and jealousy, they want to see the child physically flourish with their money in front of them. More than anything,
So it says.
And the other woman, Leonard, on average, she's putting pressure on him, guilt. So, okay.
Yeah,
This one is-
so that's why there's an element of guilt that pushes a person to just take the child and bring them into a home.
I think the Muslims, what they do is when the guy divorces, the guy takes the child the woman is 100% free, doesn't even interfere. So I think if you have that, you know, this woman is not going to be involved. So unless you can find a way for this woman, her real involvement in the situation, what is it going to be? Because you can't have another woman making rules in your house.
That's the thing.
But also, if I am a sane, mentally stable, healthy mother, why would I want my child to go be raised by another woman?
Do you understand?
So I'm always going to be interfering. It's very normal for that interference
No,
to happen.
you know, it reflects on the woman. Because as a woman, how does a man take a child from you? And you say yes. How does it happen?
So if there's a yes part, it's either I'm benefiting elsewhere. Either I can't, if I can't take care of the child and I see that they have more stability and the better school, there's always a boarding school somewhere. But yeah, there's more stability, there's more love, there's more functional home than what I can give, that I can offer.
Yeah.
Maybe I can look at it from a grown-up perspective.
I guess another.
Which is very rare.
Yeah.
That I would want to say for the child. What about me?
Yeah. Another best way to make a decision is, what is your relationship with the mother of this child? How does she interact with you? Because that says a lot in terms of how this will work. Are you best friends? Exactly. Or not, there's an issue.
We just pick up the child. She only greets her man.
Her men. Because
So I even stopped with the whole pickup thing. I was like, no, you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
she's doing it on his own. I hear you.
I think no, she has a partner now, you know, and she also has her baby is a month younger than mine.
Oh,
so
a new baby.
She's got 2 other kids, like the older one, the one that's older is now. So she doesn't beat me. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. It's got nothing to do with me. It's about her at the end of the day.
So probably it means maybe your husband could possibly feel jealous that his child will be raised by another man.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's also heartbreaking because she'd be like, "Who's the other guy did?"
Yeah. So it's affecting the ego of like, no, but that's my child.
Which is, it's so understandable. I completely understand. I considered it. And then my mom would be like, she said, sorry.
Yeah.
She said that because she's got other siblings, you can never separate siblings, especially from the mother's side.
Yeah.
Siblings from the father's side is okay, they are separated.
Yeah.
But from the mother's side, the maraba, they're supposed to be a unit.
Yeah.
You know.
So how about the guys actually? The 2 guys, what is their relationship? I've got a friend, so any decision that has to do with the child, her current husband and the father of the child, they're the ones who discuss. So to extend that, like everything, when he's now 20 or something like that, the child. So when they had to buy a car, the guys decided they do that. When they do a function, anything, the guys
That's very rare. That's very
and also it gives the guy peace that that nothing is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
and the child's stability
and the
as well,
child's
you know,
stability.
yes.
So the other option would be if the guys themselves can have a relationship.
It's also not very
There's no chance.
But you know what I'm picking up from now, the deliberations? The mother is jealous. But now, what you just said, the father is also jealous. So you see her now, she's
jealous
in
at
between.
your
No, in between. I guess the lady is jealous of her and the child in his life.
Yes.
Now the father is also jealous of another man.
Taking over.
So wait,
But I'm saying, can't you put it on him, the guy, for okay, you're a guy, you as men
Discuss this.
I mean, I know really the other guy.
My sister-in-law is so quiet. I'm talking about her brother. And so,
What is your input?
You know what?
Yeah.
I think
Thanks for the warning.
I intentionally invited her so that she can also,
Yeah, getting perspective from another.
Yeah.
But this, unfortunately, it comes from childhood. So our parents divorced and we're 3 siblings at home. So Papa obviously, had a better future, and he wanted to put down my child, which is the husband now.
Okay. Okay.
So when he took him, obviously my brother also wanted to stay in Bahai.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for my mom, but she understood that. Okay.
So I think that you are this. They
Sisters.
are siblings of the same mother and father.
Yes.
With her.
My husband is my younger brother.
But then the siblings of the same parents, mother and father. I hear you saying that. I hear you saying you wanted to stay with Papa High.
Yes.
Okay.
I was also confused.
So in terms of Nabato Bulani Papa, right? As a boy, he also always wanted to go there. So until him and my dad were decided, okay, let's approach Mama. So as difficult as it was, Mama, had to let go of his son. So there were also dynamics there because there was a new wife, one dad, and then there's another sibling mother in that marriage. So one thing that I picked up from my brother is that he never wanted to be like my dad. So he'd speak against.
So there's a
that.
history here.
Yeah, he always speaks against. I don't want to repeat in Twitter Papa Dente. But unconsciously when you say that, you end up also
Doing
stepping
it.
in it. So I advise them that, the solution is sitting with someone, psychologist, and
To facilitate this.
But
But the background is important because Gora Ronjon, he's dealing with a post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a history to this. So it's not out of the blue. So it means he also knows what it meant for him to be separated from. So traumatized this person. So he's not just a innocent, so he's got a lot of trauma, burden around this thing. So we need to be helping him to deal with the guilt, the hate. He probably also has anger around what happened that he might not have communicated to you. So he will definitely need to work on what happened, what it did to him, how it's affected, how he sees life now. Because if he's taking this child and there's a history that is linked to a similar situation, and history tends to repeat itself.
Yeah, because I wanted to say that what is happening now with the child is what happened to him. And I'm taking this, I'm noting this, because somebody said, you never say, I don't want to be like mother, especially when it's a bad thing. I don't want to be like my mother. You end up doing that. It just follows you. You rather
say what you want.
You say, I don't want to be like you. You are what like something like you end up exactly like that.
No, it's true.
What you resist persists.
No, it's true. So what we need to totally process this is a deeper problem actually. It's not just that.
It's more spiritual.
Yeah, it's too deep. It's too deep. That's why whatever happens in our younger days, it rocks up in the future. Like as a monster, surely, because there's intensity. So we definitely need him to go through this, and the two of you to process this together, and be conscious about it, so that even within your own relationship, it doesn't happen again. So she was saying, you are from a divorce, and how do you prepare yourself now to continue, and you have kids.
And then with the kids, yes. And at what stage do you introduce your kids to this person, because they are a part of you, right?
I guess divorce, just like it's a loss. It's like losing somebody through death.
A death, yes.
Even though we can't necessarily say it's the same intensity, but loss is loss. And the individual is the one who can, quantify the heaviness of their loss. Each individual does it differently, but the process of the same, because everybody has to go through a grieving process. Once, even a separation, even being laid off at work, the brain has to go through a grieving process to accept what just happened, because the brain goes through a routine, then suddenly something changes, it has to be taken, it's going to force you to take it through stages so that it can be familiar that what it used to know is no longer like that, and it has to adapt now to a new way of living. So with that being said, it means you will have to allow yourself, when you've gone through a loss, whichever type of loss, to grieve. Because the problem is when you don't grieve, you carry the pain into the future. And it complicates everything else, because then whoever that you're going in a relationship with, somehow you're going to attach them to that pain because it's unresolved pain. So you have to allow yourself to go through the grieving process to a point that you feel like, you know what, I think I'm okay. I've forgiven myself for my contribution. Let's say in this case, it's obviously divorce, it's not like death. You say, I forgive myself for my contribution for things to get to a divorce. And I also forgive my partner for their contribution for things too, because everything is always a two-way party. But now like, she's like, this was one-sided. Yeah. So it's never one-sided. You might not even be aware what your contribution is, but you do have contribution. Even if it means you are an enabler, meaning you enable somebody with a dysfunctional relationship, but there is a reason that when as an enabler you enable that person, meaning there were things in your own life that you never resolved that makes you attracted to certain type of people. I'm just saying. No, do you understand?
That is true.
Because sometimes you're not aware, but I didn't do anything. This was, but
I realized my contribution.
Yeah.
So I realized how I, from that, what was my
role?
My role, yes,
Yeah.
my role.
Yeah.
It's because I never had boundaries. As much as I'm a communicator, but I never had boundaries. I never put boundaries. And I only realized that through the grieving process, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and anxiety and all of that. And it's through that process, that healing process, that I realized that I was previously a people pleaser because I had rejection and abandonment issues when I was a child. You know, and hence why I never placed those boundaries, because now I'm like, I don't want another person to reject you again or to reject me. And that
you've gone through the cycle.
Yeah. So it starts from, because I was listening to you earlier on, and it's absolutely correct. Or things that happen to you as a child, they come up when you're an adult. I was 6 years old when I lost my father, but nobody explained death to me. My dad and I were this close. Everywhere he went, I've got an older brother, but I was closer to my father.
Yeah.
I lost him at 6.
Yeah.
And when
you never grieved, even as a child,
no,
you never
I didn't know. It was never explained. You know this thing about you know? Yeah, but to me, it felt as though he left me, he abandoned me, and he rejected me because I didn't understand
where he is.
Thank you. So yeah,
you do anything to
now I'll do anything to be accepted and not to be rejected the way that I felt as though I was rejected then.
Yeah.
You know, so I would then be a person, whatever you want. I will be there for you. Come hell or high water.
Then you can help me.
And then when I go through things, I don't talk to anybody because I don't want to bother anyone. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a problem to somebody else. So I would then deal with it by myself, within myself.
And just you not being able to process emotions is the other side of rejection. Because when you felt rejected, that's what we're saying. We think kids are just kids and nothing's everything is being recorded. The emotions, the energies, everything is being recorded. And then by the time you're an adult and everything is playing out, most people don't understand because like, but this person was stable just yesterday. Yes. Is this person different? But now those things are playing out now. Because the record is like we're reading the script, like it's time to jump now.
Yeah.
And now I was just sitting, but it's because you don't have control over your subconscious. Just remind me later to share how we can change subconscious, our own subconscious and our own kids' subconscious that have been through trauma. So you not willing to express your emotions and ask for help. It's exactly part of the consequence of that rejection, because you are scared that if you express yourself, because Mommy, I don't know why he left. Maybe I did something. If I talk, maybe they will reject me. Okay, let me sort myself out. So you learn to be tough. You toughen up. Because you're scared that if you just relax and like, oh, I've got pain, people are like, nah, what the hell, like, yo, we can't do it. So subconsciously the thing is playing out all the time, and you're like, yo, fix yourself, because people don't have time for you.
People don't have time for you. People they've got their own lives to live. You know, so you need to sort yourself out.
Yeah, so that's the whole dynamic. But I love how you were able to, you've gone full cycle, because eventually you or whoever that helped you to bring the consciousness of, okay, how did you get here now? And it also forced you to work on those emotions of a 6-year-old. How many years later? Because it will force you to work on it. But not everybody works on those issues. And when you don't work on it, you carry the burden until you die. You just suffer until you die. But it's not going to disappear.
And I actually realized that that's what, because when I had enough, when I decided, I'm done with the marriage, only after through therapy and, you know, the healing process, I realized that he was neglecting me, you know. So it was like he wasn't there, he wasn't present, you know. And I
because he assumed you are strong enough.
See, yes. And only later on, then I was like, oh my goodness. It was a trigger for me. It was the rejection, it was the abandonment, and now it's neglect. But that's what got me to the point of saying, I can't anymore. You know? So and only after I filed for divorce, I found out that he's got a child. You know, but that didn't bother me anymore, because I actually, I'd say I was a married single mother, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
And I got used to it. So, and that's when I disconnected. Like my entire, everything about me disconnected with that marriage. So literally I divorced him before I divorced him. you know?
That's how it works.
So yeah, so for me it was like, okay, now it's just a matter of formalities.
Technicalities now.
Just formalities, and that's it. And hence why I believe that I got to heal much quicker, because really I was already I was already disconnected even before I even mentioned it, you know. So, but it ties in now with the co-parenting story, but for me it's different because he's not a present father. He's alive. He's living with the mother of his son that he had.
So that baby was within your relationship or before he met you?
Within, because his son is 1 year younger than our last daughter.
So
it was within.
It's sandwiched.
Yes, you know. But I was like, okay, I don't care about it. But the problem is that he's not a present father, and we don't communicate. So how do I now, like, how do I maneuver? How do I get around the situation? That because they're with me, you know, they're constantly with me. They tell me, Mommy, I miss Daddy. They love their father, and there's nothing I can do about that.
What do you say to them? What do you say to them?
No, normally they'll be like, I miss Daddy, and then I'll be like, I'm sorry, Nana. Maybe he'll come call or come pick up me, and then they've got phones so they can call him, you know. So I also
he answers the phone when they call.
He does, you know, he does. But it's been now a year since he last saw them physically. They are 11 and 8.
When did you visit your father?
My dad, I was 6.
When did you last wait? So like,
When
did you
officialize
like
2018.
How old were they?
Oh, they were babies. I think 3. Yeah.
So
But then you see, there's something the same thing of rejection.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I'm asking you, because I'm so scared. I'm so frightened for them. Or I don't want them to grow up how I grew up. And so when he keeps away, you know, they feel that emptiness.
You know, is what happened is repeating itself,
Yes.
just in another form.
Yes, just in another form. It's just that mine died, you know, but theirs is alive, which is
Just
more
absent.
painful. Just absent. And then I started dating. Now I was ready. I'm like, okay, fine, it's okay. I'm ready to date, you know. I met somebody, and very early in the relationship, he knows I've got kids, I've got girls, I've got this and that, and then he wanted to meet them. And then I had a problem with it. Because I wanted to protect them from meeting somebody, and then he also leaves. And that's exactly what happened. He forced me to meet my kids. He was like, and he was like saying exactly that. He was like, we need to, if we're going to do this together, we need to involve the kids. When we're moving forward, we move forward with the kids. You know, that's it. And I loved that about him. I was like, oh my goodness, this man. You know, like, you know, I'm like, hello, who are you? Where have you been all this time? You know? But it was too soon.
How soon was too soon?
Too soon is in like in a month.
Oh, in a month.
It was too soon. It was within the first month. He also has kids, you know, and he was like, no, but we can't keep on going out to the Seabela. You understand? So he would come and we all go out for dinner and and they got so attached to him because of the lack of not seeing their father. And they loved him. Like it was beautiful. And unfortunately, all that glitters is not gold. You know, he had his own issues and I couldn't deal with. And then but now that I left him, and then like, Mommy, I miss Uncle Tammy. Mommy, when are we seeing Uncle Tammy again? You know, so I'm struggling. Like,
Is it Uncle Tommy? It sounds like somebody's
we're going to talking about the same person. That's why I left.
trying to break the ice. You know, I'm picking up, like, you know, the pain that is now, you know.
So now I'm scared
Went
for my
down.
children. I am scared for my babies that they don't grow up the way that I did.
Yeah.
And at the time, I couldn't even speak to my mother about it. You know, because back then, such things were, but they just never spoke to their kids about it. But I make sure that I sit down with them and ask them, how are you feeling? And and if they want to talk about their father, I allow them to. Because I can't deprive them of that, because I know what it's like growing up without a dad. But when it's him who's not putting in the effort, it's difficult. So how do I make sense? And now, if I do find somebody and then I date again, I'll be now I'm scared to introduce another man to my kids in case it doesn't work out. And then, you know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing is also to focus on what you want. Stop being scared. Because the more you're scared of something, it will come alive. The focus should be, what do you want? What are you hoping for? Because that's what you should focus on. It's easy to talk about what's going wrong, what's like you've seen, and you've got evidence, by the way, of what has gone wrong. But unfortunately, the brain doesn't process information like that. So you have to let go of the fear and start saying, what do I want? Envision what you want. See it. That, okay, I see myself, I see the kids, and hold on to that, because God has given us the power. The brain is there to serve us, but you have to still, at your age, you can still reprogram your mind. You've gone through the process of healing, but now you need to also just kick into your subconscious, because even if you've gone through the whole cycle, that head baby still comes up now and then. So we need to reprogram the subconscious mind, which is not programmed by when we are talking like this. It's something that happens at a certain phase of your sleep. So you need to reprogram that, so that everything that you speak doesn't contradict with what you want. Because you say, I want this, oh, I'm scared of this, and whatever, but your brain is like, no, but this is the program that we have. The one that you're talking about, we never got the script. So it's a matter of, we need to reprogram your mind to think positively, reprogram your mind to what you are, what you hope for, but you say what you hope for as if it is. That's what faith is. So you don't say only what, like, oh, I hope I'm going to do this. You say, I am this. Thank God for this. The brain only perceives that, but technically speaking, maybe I must just add the reprogramming now. So the reprogramming part happens just when our conscious minds goes off and we fall asleep, and just before when we wake up. So for you as an adult, if you want to reprogram your coding that you don't like, or that you don't prefer, or that is not serving you, you can play yourself audio just when you sleep. And then it will take, because remember, before you sleep, don't just close your eyes. The brain will be rushing, giving you a lot of thoughts, but at some point it lets go. The conscious mind goes off, the subconscious kicks in. So now, just at that time, they call it the theta waves. That's when those are the waves that they're the lowest frequency that can actually accept new information and talk to your brain to actually change it. So even if you just saying, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm what, like, while it doesn't really affect your subconscious. Yes, you can say it to your conscious mind, because your conscious means you're awake, you can talk to yourself, you can see. But for us to change the motherboard, so to say, is just before you sleep, you play affirmations of I am, not that I'm hoping, not that I'm scared, or this was hard for me. I mean, things are hard, but give the brain only what you hope for and say it as if it already is. If you want to do it for your kids, because sometimes our kids have traumas that have experienced through us, because they can only experience them through us. Whatever that you hope for your kids, or the challenges that you feel like my kid is facing, you play it for them just before they wake up. You play, you just you get affirmations that say I am. It has to be I am, I have, as if it is. Then you just put it there, and once you put it there and it starts playing, remember, somehow you're triggering consciousness a little bit, but you don't you don't wake up immediately. So by just triggering that consciousness, then you're kicking into the theta waves again. Then the subconscious starts like, oh, okay, there's new information. That's the only way that we can tap into that, like literally.
Then how do you do that? You record and you play?
You've got people that already are doing affirmations.
There are apps as well for it. I've got the apps. What you say? I am. I've got an app, and there's another one, Abide. It's also good. So you can download.
So it's something that you can download music. Even on this music stuff, they have. I'm using J Lee Craft. There's one that says J. Lee, as in like Lee Craft, KRAFT. I find that one is to the point. So there's one for prosperity, one for peace,
and to play
one for. So if you're doing it for your kids, you just, when you know they're about to wake up in the next 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, then you play it, you put it next to their bed, so that their brain can start picking that up. And then, because now you know they're about to wake up. So in terms of what wakes them up, you know whether they wake themselves up or that you say wake up, but you know they usually wake up at this time. So a few minutes before that you play it, and then the subconscious will take it. The subconscious will take it. And then by the time they wake up, by the time somebody's totally awake, you can't affect the subconscious, but you can affect it just during that interface between subconscious and consciousness. So what we're saying is, and remember, even us as adults, we've gone through our own issues. You are dealing with your own issues, and there's emotions you need to process, there's things you need. So you also do that for yourself, because you need to calm your brain down, because the more you've got these thoughts that torment you, violate you the whole time, your body is always inflamed. What it also means, then you become a high risk for somebody to have diseases, because you're always inflamed, you're stressed. There are thoughts that torment you the whole time, which you cannot relieve yourself just by saying positive, or I do it today. Like, it gets to a point where it doesn't work anymore. Like, I've been doing that, it doesn't work now. So you have to take it deeper to a place where you need your own subconscious to support your actions when you're conscious. So you do that for yourself. So that, because when your subconscious is in agreement with your conscious, things tend to, like, you experience more peace. But when your conscious is in conflict with the subconscious, that's where, let me give you a tip of how to know if you let's say you're talking to someone, you say something, then they yawn immediately. You have to know that what you just said now, it does not agree with what is on their subconscious mind, what they truly believe and what they know. It's a simple test. Like say, yeah, no, we're going to go. Like you must know they don't want to go. They don't, so that's how you just to have some, because our bodies are so intelligent. They call it body intelligent. Does she yawn a lot? Yeah, then you know.
And I say, are you bored? No. I'm sitting.
So even with yourself, sometimes you're in a meeting at work, or sometimes you're meeting someone, and then they're saying something, and then suddenly something happens in your body suddenly, whether it's your tummy changes but your body will signal immediately that something is not okay, or something that happened now that does not correlate, it doesn't align with what your subconscious believes in or knows as a fact. So it's a nice, I mean, when you're in the board meetings for the executives, like, yeah, talking, then somebody just says, yeah, no, we did it. You know, they didn't do it. Or they did it, but they don't agree with it. It's body language. So it's that thing. So that's what I do when I do my executive trainings, to say, how do you align yourself to the higher consciousness? It's actually on my business card, where you integrate body intelligence. So this thing, being aware of your body so that you can pick up on the signals and respond appropriately. So most of us ignores the signal, you override it. Let's say you have a headache suddenly. Yeah, something just changed. Something just changed. But now for you to ask your body what changed, because sometimes you don't know, but it's a sudden thing. It can literally be a subconscious thing. So remember, we can also pick up image. Something could have just happened that you're not even aware of, but your senses felt it. Or somebody just said something and you're not sure how you feel about it. She's yawning. I'm not giving you away. Yeah.